Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be doing another autumn nail design featuring a challenge that was given to me by Amber Lynn 81 Beauty and also a high school friend of mine. Today I'm going to be making nails using pine cones. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for watching. For my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, and subscribe. Click on that notification bell for future videos. So I started off by putting on some nail dehydrator, and now I'm applying some primer, both by Gelish. And today I'm using pine cones. Went out and picked them up off of the floor. There's like a whole bunch of them around my building. And I'm just taking some clear polygel by Modelones, and we're going to be applying a very thin layer just to shape out the nail. And we're going to use this as the platform to rest the pieces of pine cone. I just took the little pieces and ripped them off the pine cone. And then we're going to trim down some of this to size so that it fits on the nail. But then we're going to reassemble this like it was a pine cone. And that's pretty much it. But of course, this video is almost about 30 minutes. So hopefully you'll be able to muscle through it and just get to see how I decided to do this challenge. So if you have any other challenges that you would like for me to do, please comment below. But I had previously done 2 anime challenges. This one was to make nails using weird things, and in homage to this season that just started this past week, I decided to use pine cones, which was a suggestion of one of my high school friends. So I'm just placing these guys down as such, and I'm just going to stagger them just like they are in a pine cone. And I'm in between putting these layers of polygel not only as a binder, but as a medium to add dimension to each row of pine cone. I don't know what these things are called. But you'll be able to see what I'm talking about after this. But as you can see here, it's just going to be a little messy. This is definitely going to be a bit bulky. But the end result is just going to look super cute. And I just ate, so I feel like I have a nice gust of energy right now. Who doesn't like to eat? Yeah, so I'm using the spacing on this nail form to space out these rows of pine cone evenly. And let me just say, it's been a hot minute since I've used polygel, since I've used nail forms, and I do miss it. I mean, I am realizing, you know, stepping away from polygel and from using my soft gel tips now. I mean, this is so much more messier. At the same time, though, I love this Modelones clear polygel because it is super clear. It's as clear as the Gelish hard gel, but at the same time, like, I prefer the Gelish clear hard, polygel, or most yeah, let me just say that. Because the texture of the Gelish polygel is, I guess, thicker, I would say, to where, you know, I don't have to keep the brush super wet to prevent it from sticking to the brush. But with the Modelones polygel, I definitely have to make sure that I'm keeping my brush wet, and I hate that. Like when I lay down my Gelish Polygel, I like to use as the smallest amount of slip as possible. Just because I like the polygel how it is, you know, I don't want to add any extra stuff. Plus the slip solution sometimes comes in different colors and you may not see it, but you know, that color is going to transfer onto your polygel. So thankfully it doesn't matter in this case because the pine cone color is so dark, and you know, the clear parts are not going to be as noticeable as if I were doing a total clear nail. But this part was kind of fun and weird at the same time. I mean, I don't like putting strange things in my nails, but I decided to give this a try. A while ago, I did make nails using like hot cocoa and or cocoa mix and Fruity Pebbles and stuff like that. I feel a little awkward doing that because like food goes bad and pine cones it's a living thing. I mean, it's probably not a living thing, but it has living things in it. Um, so be careful if you do this because I did see like these very tiny bugs on there. So that was fun. Not. At any rate, I am now putting a layer of clear coat on top and giving this a wipe down with the nail cleanser before I start filing this away to shape. And again, this is going to be a bulky nail, but we are applying pine cone things on there. So it's going to make it bulky. Um, but it's going to be worth it because the end result is going to look so cute. Um, So one good way of doing this is obviously just straighten out the sides. Want to make sure that your lines are straight. And the way that I know that I've smoothed out the whole nail, you'll notice right now everything just seems fine and unfiled. And as soon as you start filing the surface of the nails, you'll get to see where the divots are in your nail, and you just have to smooth those divots out. So you do want to make sure that you have enough polygel covering your pine cones, because if you start leveling out your nail and a pine cone is not fully covered with the polygel, you are going to be filing it away and it's going to look a little different from how you placed it on your nail, if that makes any sense. So as you can see here, I'm slowly filing away at the surface, and spots where it hasn't been filed, these little patch areas, that means that the nail is uneven and you just have to file it down more to make the whole nail even with itself. So I don't necessarily like to have bulky nails, but again, this is the exception because we're creating a pine cone look using pieces of pine cone. So it's very hard to have them lay flat or super flat to where it won't be bulky. You're gonna get the bulk. That's just how it goes. And I went through a bunch of files to get it nice and smooth, and this is the last buffer that I'm using. Um, After I wipe off the dust, I'm going to be applying a clear top coat, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. So, you know, when you rough up your nails, you want to make sure you go down, you go up in file grit so that there are minimal scratches and they all blend in to where when you put the top coat on, it's pretty nice and smooth, as you see here. You can already tell the dimension. It's so different between like the file look and then the clear top coated look on this nail. And I love it. It looks like a pine cone has been encased in my nail. So the next part of this design, in these pine cones, there are these tiny little seeds. You've probably seen the larger pine cones, and they come in those seeds come larger. But I happen to pull a small one, so we got the smaller seeds. Now I'm going to be laying down a very thin layer of this polygel. I'm using a non-clear because I like to save my clear. So I took the apricot color by Modelones, and I'm just smoothing this down to a very thin layer. And I'm going to be removing the excess polygel. Um, since I did put a little bit too much on there. And again, I'm using the Mia Secret nail forms. I love these. I bought a huge roll, and I don't know how many years ago, and I still got it. So there was a ton of stickers on there. But yeah, so we're just going to smooth this out to create a very thin platform for us to do some more layering. I wanted to do that kind of layering with the seeds, but I want it to be over a backdrop. So I'm going to file this down, being very careful because it's a super thin nail. And we're going to put some nail polish over this, some base coat and nail polish. Or I don't know if I put a base coat on there. At any rate, I'm just filing the tip, making sure that it's the same size as my other nails are going to be. And I'm also realizing how much more filing I gotta do with polygel. I think I've been very spoiled these past few months using the soft gel kit, and although I love sculpting nails, this is a lot of work. So again, I'm going through file grits. So I actually went from a coarse, and now I'm down to like a medium buffer. And this is just to smooth it out. I'm not going to go through all my files because I don't want to break the nail. But I'm just gently buffing the nail to make it smooth enough for my nail polish. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be encapsulating this nail and the seeds in. So we'll be able to better shape the nail after the fact. And again, with the layering of the seeds, you won't be able to tell any imperfections. So don't be worried about getting this nail super perfect. Swiping it with some nail cleanser. Now I'm applying some Sweet Tea by Sally Hensen's Miracle Gel. And I'm applying 2 coats of this, letting it fully dry. Meanwhile, I'm going to be making the rest of my nails with this polygel, the apricot color. I like this polygel better than the clear one because it's not as sticky. But as you can see, it it applies very well. And kudos to me for not having to dig back into the polygel tube. I got just enough to make these nails unlike the ring finger that I did there. But yeah, I definitely kind of miss doing polygel nails. After I give that a cure, I'm just nail cleansing the sticky layer off of it, and then we're going to go to filing. While I'm filing, I'm being very careful not to hit my ring finger that is still trying to dry. And then I'm going to be shaping up my index, middle, and pinky. And after that, I'm going to balance out the nail and make sure it's nice and smooth, and follow it up with some buffer files to make it super smooth. So we are doing stiletto nails today. It started off as an almond because that pine cone looks a little almondy, but as I'm applying the other nails, it just ended up being a little bit more pointier than the thumbnail, and that's okay. So I'm just sticking with these medium length stilettos. So I actually wanted to do square tip, but the square tip for the pine cone nail wouldn't have looked right. So I ended up doing the stiletto. And after I go through the course file to shape up these nails, again, I'm going to be going through my files to make sure that I end up getting a nice smooth result. We are going to end up covering this with the nail polish, but I always want to make sure that I get everything nice and smooth. And some people say to use your e-file. I like using my e-file for removal. I don't like to use it for shaping. So that is just my shtick. If you want, you could always e-file your nails even. It would definitely be faster, but that's okay for me. Just giving these a nail cleanse, and I'm applying now some Modelones base coat. We're going to be applying a thin layer of that to each of these nails here, with the exception of the thumb and the ring finger, and giving it a cure after each nail. And we're going to nail cleanse each one to remove the sticky layer. And we are now applying Sweet Tea by Sally Hensen. This is the Miracle Gel. And I applied 2 coats of this on each of the remaining nails. And I'm allowing these guys to fully dry. So this is a take on last year's video. I had done a similar autumn nail using this exact same color. Aside from the pine cones, I decided to do a similar design to the one that I did last year. So for my ring finger, I'm applying a thin layer of this clear polygel, and I think I put a little bit short of what I needed, but I'm just trying to stretch out that polygel so I don't have to get more. But I'm just laying down now these seeds. I want to make sure I'm laying them down flat. And I'm just going to keep placing them randomly and give that a cure. And then I'm going to apply the next layer. It's going to take a dollop of that clear polygel, and we're just going to rub that all over the nail. This is going to help encapsulate the seeds and also be the binder for the seeds to stick onto the nail. And for this layer, I'm going to apply maybe the same amount of seeds, but I'm going to kind of stagger them so some are falling on top of the other, but I definitely want to change up the angles so they're not all in the same direction. And this polygel in between is definitely going to make the difference. You're going to start seeing towards the end there that there's a lot of dimension going on in this nail. And I'm just doing this a couple more times. Make sure that I cover a good amount of the nail with those seeds. Placing these here and there. Applying another layer of polygel. And this is definitely a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. You can only imagine the possibilities that you can do. Obviously, you don't have to do just these seeds here. You can use practically anything. After I cured that, I'm just going to nail cleanse this. And then we're going to start filing this down. So this is another bulky nail. So I just got to concentrate on shaping up the tip and then leveling out the surface of the nail. This was definitely a very interesting design, and it's giving me some kind of some ideas for some future nails. Again, it's a lot of work, so I'm not too sure how often I'll be doing this. I'm still using up my soft gel tips, so it might be a while before I get back to polygels, but I already have in mind the next systems that I'm going to try after I use up my soft gel tips. So I was definitely looking into doing dip and or acrylic. I don't know how much fun I can have with dip, but I can only imagine how much fun I can have with acrylic. The only problem is I haven't used acrylic since, like, 2 decades ago, and it's not like I was good at it. So it's going to be very interesting to get back to that. So I just applied a clear top coat, filling in any gaps that I made filing away at the seeds. And we're going to move on to The next design here, I'm using Born Pretty stamping plate BPL047. It's got all these nice leaves on there that I used in the last video. And I'm just taking the same colors that I kind of used in the last video too, the metallic fall colors, to make these leaves. And once all that has fully dried, I'm going to be applying this top coat very carefully because sometimes the bristles will pull that stamping polish and will end up streaking your design. But again, I thought I would copy the same design I had a year ago and a similar design but not the same pattern from last week. So I'm really loving these leaf stamping plates at the moment with these colors. So I can't get off it. I keep using it. So here I'm applying some Nourish Cuticle Oil by Gelish and rubbing this into each nail. And we all know what's coming up next after we get this all squared away and rubbed in. Making sure we put that moisture back in there. So this is the end result. My autumn nail design using pine cones. And here's a closer look. Just look at that dimension. Look at the colors of those leaves on a stiletto nail. I love this design. It's very earthy, very simple. That thumbnail is freaking insane. Again, bulky, but it's a pine cone, people. Here's a close-up of the seeds. As you can see, I filed away some of it. Don't freak out when you have those empty spaces. You can always fill that in with top coat. And here is my super amazing pine cone that I did on my nail. It kind of looks like a dragon egg, but you know, it's a stinking pine cone. I'm going to flip this upside down so you can see the underside. It's very weird, but I love how it turned out. I'm definitely going to have to try a challenge like this again. So there you have it. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. I hope you enjoyed my autumn nail challenge. Thank you so much again, Amber Lynn, 81 Beauty, and my friend from high school to help me get this design off the ground. It was super fun. Well, I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.